Okay, so I made a little bit my mind. I will start from, well, we try and work it really as a chamber piece. We should find a system, you know, I sort of reason speaking aloud, you know what I mean? We should find a way of making smoother the point when the parts they reverse. Like this, I mean, the most difficult patch, I think, to arrange. I mean, bass on the basis and violin singing, that will work. I mean, no problem. Just one thing I would tell, Jess, isn't it? Yeah. And your name? Hoyni. Yes. Hoyni. Jess and Hoyni. Just, I think when you play well, it's sort of habanera, this, no? When you play the sixth interval, don't make it this tom, tom, po. You know what I mean? Then another point was nice, but I think that interval, it should, I mean, if you could extend the end, I mean, to diminish, because we need to make a sort of chord underneath, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't think too jazzy that particular interval. And all the times the demi-quaver a little bit conventional. Sort of, don't make it too much on. So, and the other thing of the violin and bass party should be that you should forget about being vertical. So the bass has got and it's like, and you should play so don't feel your notes should go on top of her. You know what I mean? Maybe just by even, I think you could have, I mean, we can try again, but you could have a certain freedom even on the demi-quaver you play. It's not indispensable that it's exactly on top of her one. Her part, the bass, it's like an ostinato, it's like a continuo. And you on top, I mean, it's obviously of Spanish derivation, this sort of idea. No? It should have some sort of that feeling of freedom. We should use a bit more rubato. Okay. You know rubato, I take a bit of tempo and then I give it back, very honest. Yeah. I always say the rubato in music is much more honest in real life. If I take off a thing from you, it's very rare that I give it back to you. In music, you take something, but then you give it back. So that the measure is inside. So how you start? Plom, plom, and starts just now. I think that's a bit the feeling. Let's try just a few bars at the beginning to see. And you just try and avoid, yes. Or sometimes you can, if for instance from the A to the F, you had some AF, I think, sometimes. So there some patches where you are in that sort of range. So when you are in this range, you can actually extend. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you know what I mean. With the, well, not maybe when it's. Well, you see, when you can, or in any case, just even if you don't extend, but reduce it to the minimum. That's interval, because that doesn't. That sounds a little bit off on another style. You know what I mean? Because you must think to an habanera more Spanish folk than jazz, you know what I mean? Even if Weill, I mean, has lots of jazz, but in this case, I think we have to be a little careful. There are some passages where you do tree on that. That was nice, that we remember, but not in that interval. Let's try from the beginning one time. And then we get to the Weill, and we try and find the balancement that works more. Basically, I think the bass should play brighter. So you should, when you get in, Jess, you should immediately try and play slightly more toward the bridge. When you got long notes in this particular music, I wouldn't hold them too much to give space to the other. Don't hold it too much, and vice versa. And probably the violin maybe we'll check it. We should play slightly longer. I mean, we need to create some sort of harmony in the background, but it's more difficult with the violin on second line and bass. So let's try a few lines of the beginning, and then we go directly to the more delicate.
Do you want us to go right from the beginning or where I started?
Where you start, yes. Let's try the, I forgot your name. Hoyi. Let's try not don't make tak tak. You know what I mean? Don't put two dots on so sharp on the demi-quaver. You know what I mean? Not tak tak. That really sounds a little bit too dry. You know what I mean? Try violin only violin without bass. Yadan, tadam, tidan, tadam, yadan. So when you go to tari ra ra ridam, pam 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 tari, that should come out more. Let's try once more. Yeah. Let's try and put it with the bass. Let's see what happens. Yeah, don't disappear. Tirari, don't disappear with that note. Tirari, yeah. So it sounds like 3 instruments, not 2. Well, that's very important, Jess. That chord you played, when she's still, it should sound louder. Yeah, there is nothing interesting. So but when you get the we must fill the gap. You know what I mean? So let's make just one measure before that, to balance the thing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Well, just a little before, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, you see, there is nothing else otherwise. Yeah, that's dialogue in. Okay, let's do from the same point. Now. Yes. Try and do this name. Let's try. Even if you land earlier. Let's try. I mean, then I'll pull you back if it's too much.
Can we go to Okay, it's working much better. I think it's working. The message is very easy. When you hear that the other one hasn't got that, you fill the gap. And vice versa. And you have capito the mechanism. You can start a little later and then recuperate. and then go a little faster in the K, and that makes a little bit of it. Let's go now to where just before the two parts they reverse, where the bass becomes, so as to make a sort of good balance. Just a little before that change of, wherever is comfortable for you. Let's try. I think you began in the right place, and then you went too much of the free. Yeah, I much rather with the violin like the sound you began with. So let's try just the bass to find the right position. That's just one like. Yeah, let's carry on a little bit. I would say not sort of softer than that, the sound. Let's try with the violin. Now, just there is a question of how you start. Even if it's not exactly in the tempo, make a little bit more Latin as a time. Yes. That's better. Now the bass is coming out very well compared to before, so maybe you can give a little more. Yeah, well, let's try. I'm making the mixing, so we find as much. I find probably they're a little too short, the small notes. Nearly like if it was nearly. I would think. I don't know which bowings we're making.
There's not really any bowings written in.
Rather than tatin, try and do jitan, tatan, radan. Let's try it down, up. You want to read the last three? Let's just an experiment. From the bass once more. Sorry, just so you don't get bored. Just let's try the second part of the violin. It's always jadam. The first one is longer. Always jadam, tatam, tim, jadam, titim. Right. Can't you have it down bow in some way? Let's see. Yadam, katin, ti, tai. Yeah, you could have down bow this sound. Make it tone string. That yadam, katam, ti, yadam. Try it that way. No, try down. Make it down bow the glissando. Yes, it should. That's better before writing. Just try. Yeah. It's much better. Few words, much better. It's more natural than Try as much as you can to make the glissando down bow. It will work better. It's more natural to look at it. Just one time more the violin, then we put with the bass. Yes. Yeah, let's try with the bass now. No, more passional. Yes. Yeah, this is a ram pam. That's the first time. Tari da di da da. Put something special on the two notes. Yeah, let's make from that bar there.
Oh no,
find a way of having down up that two chord, the ram, or up or down down, better. Yeah, and what is unnatural, 1, 2 is better, run, tan, or run, ram, in some way or in another. Yes, you see what I mean? Yes, something like that. It should sound, really a little bit, Ram, tan, ti, di, 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 da, da. That bar there. Yeah, Jess, play always like that. That's a nice sound. Vibrant. Have you got the dynamics there? Just that's what probably you have got diminuendo mezzo piano, not too piano. I would say don't change probably the type of sound. Cioè when you make the dynamics, just change vediamo dov'è, scusa. Ecco qui. Dov'è che siamo, scusami? Questo, the sounds will be a little bit, even there's a vibrato. I think, well, where is starting actually? It's a bit like that. I mean, you was sort of some fun out of it. Because if you play too much here, you see what I mean? It doesn't work. So it's a type of music in which it's well tolerated and welcome a slightly excess of portamento with the bow. But before it, but here, when you find 4 demiquavers, you can also sometimes you see the slightly conversion. It's a bit even in tango you find that type of phrasing. You very rarely make ta ta ti ta ti ta ra ta ti ra ya da da ti ya da da. It's a little bit conventional as a writing. So let's try and put some sort of red pepper on it, a bit of chili sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, there it is. So you must make us feel that we miss a bass. Last time it's getting better. Okay, last time I just you're starting getting. Yes, feel free. Now, you are together, very good. Of course, when you are together, you make them measured. Personally, a little crescendo there. Right? Yeah, because otherwise that other piano, 5, yeah, perfect. Well, I'm doing very well. Quindi, where you go to... I would add it's not. So then you get, so a little crescendo toward the F. Let's try from 103, yeah.
Up it to 104.
Yeah. I would give a little bit more fat to the 8th note. Let's find out. Yeah, you can shift even with the third if you want, or with the second, so that it's easier to make the chord. You got the harmonic. Yeah, to avoid the first one, like a bit of Jess, or else what? In some way, you should get the D either with the second or with the third finger. Yes. Yeah, you must have slightly more comfortable because that's a little too stretchy. In this particular case of this music, you can also shift with the same finger. It doesn't matter that we make 3-3-3. For what I'm against using always the same finger, but in this particular case, you can do it, no problem. Well, not quite so excessive, but keep the tension of it. You see, because it's nearly in a sort of rest position. That's very strange. Yes, something like that, capito? Something like that. Can we join it just the beginning of the bar is enough. Yeah. But it's not so difficult. Poi the terra is the same position. See? So it's not that complicated, Jess. It's more to read it. So you make 3, 2, 2, then you got 1, 2, and then, isn't it? So it's a 4th. So, allora you can make 2, 3, guarda. So let's make it slowly once. It's indispensable to catch the B flat with the third one. Then you go back with the third, so you got the fourth. Now the second stays still, and you go forward. So you got the third free. Okay, that's how you would solve that passage. But it could come nice. It could be really your moment. I would, yeah, mezzo piano, but not less. So you can go, let's carry on though, so we finish reading in 2 minutes.
Upbeat 212.
Yes.
Upbeat to 110. I counted one.
Yes. Bye.
Yeah, sorry. One.
I think I understand what Valentina thought with that accent. They are sort of vibrato accents. I'm sure that's what. No, we are in F key. Yeah. So practically speaking, just the higher bow speed. Yes. So you got a bow speed, and all of a sudden the bow speed goes faster, and you vibrate a little more, and that makes that's what you should be. So let's make just from maybe 120. Yeah? Good. That's very nice. If you really like the sound of the yes, I leave it up to you. You may like the sound of the second string, but let's make the G. Yes. Allora has a meaning. Like that means something. Let's make from your last intro.
Sorry, 100 upbeat to 126.
Yep.
Yeah.
We must make it. Yeah, you can change, but you got another 2 fingers, Jess. You can even use the fourth or the third. You see what I mean? So you can change finger as soon as you go back. Or go on another string. I leave it there. That's one possibility. Or so you can use the. I mean, I leave it to you. But also changing. Oh yeah, making a mess. Also changing. I'm fishing here. Even probably changing string would make it sort of look easier. Let's try probably with the change of string, and try and start already with the third one. Yes. Yeah, it makes you save just a few minutes. You've got nearly natural, because you see we've got so it's just enough. You just put a little pressure on the thumb. So it's very safe. You see, just there are some harmonics that we can call them false. I mean, they're not really false harmonics. They're semi-natural. We could say. You see, the thumb is not pressing. So when you got the real harmonic, capito? Yes. Really. This is false, but that's also the only false harmonic you got is the second one. You see, that one doesn't need any mouth, but you see? So you can practice that one. You have got all the replicas of these harmonics. Just if you put the thumb sort of not pressing, not making, but just lying on the echo. And then some much sort of wider. You see, because they nearly sound as natural, okay? So that's maybe an exercise you can make. Let's suppose that's that, but I think we are over with the time. Well, I trust you the last bars, you make them nice. Be careful, just the last pizzicato maybe, 10 seconds. Yeah, a bit louder, yeah, you probably. Make all three notes evident. Let's put it with the violin.
Oh, sorry.
But better. You are trying to make one chord.
Yeah.
You should start earlier, I think.
Okay.
Sort of overlap what we have.
Like right up
Yeah, something like that. Otherwise you remain all by yourself. Okay, great.